Now, it's always a good idea to have a little toolkit or something like that to assist you on a shoot, when you're stuck in a bind sometimes. Sometimes, you may need to loosen a screw or tighten a screw or you may need to tape down something. You never know. And for that reason, I always have a little toolkit with me, for those scenarios where something comes up and I need to solve a little problem, that may arise. And so for 2026, I have updated my toolkit, and I want to share with you what I have inside of it so far. Now, everything that I'm going to mention fits in this little bag, right? It's just a tiny bag. This bag is nothing special. I did not purchase it for this purpose. As a matter of fact, this bag was was just a container bag with cosmetic stuff in there, men's toiletries that you would get at the store from time to time. So I just basically repurpose it for that use. As a filmmaker or videographer, you have to find ways to kind of save money, and this is one way I get to save money. So everything that I'm going to show you fits in this little bag, and I would take this with me on shoots. All right, so let's start now. Everything that I'm going to point out to you or mention to you, I have them laid out on a little table here beside me. So I'm going to reach over every time and just grab them, as I go through them and show them to you and tell you why I bring them along with me. All right, so let me just get this out of the way. So one of the first thing, or one of the thing I usually bring with me on any shoot is a lens cleaning cloth, right? It's always good to have a lens cleaning cloth just to clean off your lens before you start shooting. You do not want to have dust on your lens and all of that, particles on your lens. It's always good to start off with clean glass, right? So I would bring lens cleaning cloth with me. All right, that would be a part of my toolkit. All right, the next thing I bring along with me is a multi-tool. All right, so this is my multi-tool. It has different parts inside of it, that I can pull out, and I must mention something. All that I'm going to mention here, they're in no particular order. I did not lay them out in any particular order, so I'm just going to just grab stuff as I go along. So this is my multi-tool. This is not the latest multi-tool. You can get, if you're going to Amazon, you can get better ones than this. I think what this company, Small Rig, also sell good multi-tool, but you can find them on Amazon, right? So basically, this has a few things in it, screwdrivers, knives, those little kind of stuff. The only thing it doesn't have in it is, that would be useful, is Allen keys. All right, so if you can get one with most of the tools that would be helpful for you on a shoot, find one on Amazon or purchase one from another manufacturer. So I bring a multi-tool along. All right, the next thing that would be in my toolkit is our batteries, or a power bank. I don't have a power bank with me at the moment, but I would ensure that I have batteries, because depending on what you're shooting, or depending on the scenario, you may need batteries to power your gear. For example, in an audio recorder or a shotgun microphone. So what I do, I bring I bring different kinds of batteries. These are AAA batteries, and I also bring AA batteries. I'd bring 9-volt batteries if necessary, and sometimes I would bring along a power bank, depending on the scenario or my need. All right, so this is the next thing that would be in my, batteries are the next things that you would find in my toolkit. All right, so like I said, no particular order, guys. All right, the next thing you're going to need, or I would advise you to have, is tape. Whether it be masking tape or sellotape or gaffer tape. Now, a lot of people swear by gaffer tape because it is said that gaffer tape does not leave residue. It does not peel paint off. But I've heard the opposite, that depending on where it is, the kind of paint or what kind of surface it is stick to, it can actually peel off tape. In any case, what I have here is duct tape. This is just basic duct tape, and I would use this to tape down cables on the floor if I have to run cables on the floor, or especially in spots where people are walking and I don't want them to trip over it, because I don't want to be liable, if you know what I mean. I use this to tape cables down. But apart from that, this can be used to to help you to rig up something, maybe a backdrop or something like that. You never know, but these things can come in clutch. So this is basic duct tape, but like I said, you can get the other kind of tapes that are available. That's what I'm saying. All right, so you'll find this in my toolkit also. Okay, so tape. The next thing I have in my toolkit is a card reader. I always bring a card reader with me, because there are times when you just want to offload some footage from an SD card or something like that, or onto your laptop, and especially if your laptop does not have an SD card reader or CF Express card reader, there's no way to for you to get the footage off your SD card without using a card reader. For that reason, I always bring one along with me, and this one has a wide variety of slots for different kinds of cards: SD card, CF card, micro SD, a whole plethora of different card slots. So this is something that I would bring along with me, just to ensure that if push comes to shove and I need to ingest, footage from an SD card or any kind of storage into my laptop, if I have to do it, I have a reader, right? I love SD card readers. All right. Another thing you may find in my, that you will find in my my toolkit are clamps. Now these are very handy. They are very good, and I will bring maybe 2 or 3 of these along with me. If I'm erecting something, putting up a backdrop, or I just need to secure something somewhere, these can come in clutch. So these little clamps, I'd bring a few with me in this little bag of mine. All right, so clamps. All right. What else? Rain cover. You never know what Mother Nature will bring sometimes. And there are times, depending on the kind of shoot you're doing, you may be shooting outside, and Mother Nature decided to dump, a shower of rain at some point. All right, and you need to be prepared for that. All right, so I always have a rain cover with me. I sometimes more than one. So this is a rain cover, and this is big enough to it's not designed for a specific camera, but if push come to shove, this can cover my camera. I will have more than one of these because they fold up so small, so I can carry 2 or 3 of these just to cover my cameras from the elements if it should start raining. So rain cover, guys. You will find this in my toolkit. Okay, what's the next thing? The next thing you will find in my toolkit is an SSD. This is an SSD. This one is from Samsung, and this is the T7. Very fast and very, very tiny. Like I said, there are times you may want to offload some footage from a card, and you may not want it. You may not want to, have that footage sitting on your drive, the drive which has your operating system on it, right? You want to have it on an external storage, right? So these, I'm not saying you need to get one of these. You don't need to get this specific brand, but I'm just saying it's always good to have some form of external storage that you can dump footage on if push come to shove. So you will find this little drive in my toolkit all the time. All right. So this is a 1 terabyte. By today's standard, it's not much, but it's better than having nothing. Okay. All right. So that's it. The next thing you'll also find in my toolkit are extra SSDs. Well, not SSDs. I just show you an SSD, extra SD cards. This one is a 128 gigabyte, and I will bring 2 or 3 of these just to be prepared, just to ensure that you don't run out. You don't find yourself in a pickle where you need an extra card and you don't have one. I know this is not a tool per se. It's not a tool per se. Neither was the SSD, but these are essential stuff that can save your butt if push come to shove or the situation arises. Okay, so you will find a couple of SD cards in my toolkit. Okay, what else? Another thing I would bring with me, I would bring along a phone, a tripod phone clamp holder thing here, right? And this little pivoting head from Ulanzi, I would attach this to this. I bring this along just in case I need to use my phone just to capture some footage, capture some video footage. I need to set up a phone in a strategic spot to capture an angle where I did not have a camera. And so sometimes, your phone can come in quite handy. And if you have an old phone, which is still good, don't be afraid to use it. All right. So I bring these along. This little thing allow me to angle the head of to angle this to get the kind of orientation or or position that I want if I need to put my phone on it. All right. So yes, a phone clamp and the pivoting head that I can attach this to, and this would be sitting on a tripod. Okay. All right. What else? Another thing that I would ensure that I have in my toolkit are, man, I keep a lot of stuff. These little screws here. These are basically screws for the tripod plate, right? Screws for the tripod plate. Sometimes, inevitably, you remove the screw from the tripod plate, which I don't normally do, but it can happen, and you misplace it somewhere, or it should fall out from the tripod plate, right? So I bring an extra tool here in my little toolkit just to ensure that I have that situation covered if it should ever arise. So yes, these little screws. The next thing I bring along is wire ties. Wire ties. Wire ties can come in very handy to secure stuff. You may be setting up something. You may be setting up a backdrop. You may need to attach something to your tripod. You may need to attach a light somewhere, that kind of stuff. But these little wire ties, they can come in very handy. So you'll find a pack of these in my toolkit also. What else do I bring? Another thing I bring in my toolkit is this. This is a flashlight, and this allows me to to be prepared if I'm working in an environment where lighting is low, just because of the nature of the shoot, and I need to do something on my camera. I need to see properly to change a setting or to adjust something, that kind of stuff. Having a flashlight can save your butt. You could always use the flashlight on your phone, but sometimes you don't want to take your phone out of your pocket, and just having this handy can save you a lot of time. All right, very easy to use. So you would find one of these in my toolkit as well. Another thing I would have in my toolkit: scissors. Scissors. You know what scissors can do. You never know, but I bring these little scissors along in case I need to maybe to cut some Velcro tape or something, anything. I bring this along. So scissors. What else do I bring in my toolkit? I would bring an ND filter. Now I have an ND filter here. It's a just in case kind of stuff. Everything here is just in case, that I'm showing to you. But sometimes you're shooting in bright light and you want to maintain your f-stop, your aperture. You don't want to stop it down, but at the same time you don't want your footage to get blown out. So having a variable, this is a variable ND filter, right? This one is from KNF, right? This is a variable ND filter which allows me to basically darken or reduce the amount of light that is hitting my camera sensor by fitting this onto the front of the lens. All right, this is just one size. My plan is to buy like a set, or maybe get a set of step-up rings. That will be more ideal. So ND filter. The next thing I bring along is an air blower. Now, you may be shooting in an environment again where it's dusty and there's sand, and you may have to change a lens on the fly, and you just want to make sure that there's no dust or anything like that on your camera sensor, right? So this comes in clutch, and not only in those situations. Sometimes you just basically just want to clean off, just blow off the sensor before you attach your lens to your camera. So so you will find one of these in my little bag as well, my little toolkit bag. The other thing I bring along is a set of Allen key. Now, I was thinking of picking up a set of Allen key that is attached to one thing, more like a multi-tool. But over the years, I have accumulated so many different sizes of Allen keys, just because I have been assembling furniture, or you buy a piece of gear, they send you an Allen key with it. I've been able to accumulate so much of these different kinds or different sizes of hex keys that I didn't buy one. So I have a whole bag here, a whole bag of different sizes, different length and size and sizes. So instead of going out to buy a multi-tool kind of set, if you know what I mean, I just put these in a little Ziploc bag and I'm good to go. I have maybe about a dozen or more in this little bag, right? So Allen keys, guys, you'll find these in my toolkit. And last but not least, or should I say not last, I also bring along a phone charger, right? Now this one can do power delivery, right? The cameras that I use sometimes, or I should say 2 of my cameras are able to be charged this way. But just in case I also need to charge my phone, this comes in clutch. This has both USB-A and USB-C. All right. It's a fast charger which also does power delivery. Okay. So yeah, I bring this along in my toolkit, and you must be saying my toolkit is extensive. So the last thing that I'll bring along, which I don't have, and maybe it's because it's a little bit too big for my toolkit. So many times it's outside of the bag. It's just a short extension cable, AC extension cable. It's big. I have one that is big enough to fit in the bag here, but sometimes it makes the bag a little bit too bulky. So sometimes I may not keep it in it. But that is something I would bring along on a shoot to, as part of my toolkit, to ensure that I'm covered for every, for certain scenarios. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I just thought I would share that with you today, guys. What's inside my toolkit for 2026, and if you carry one of these little toolkits with you, you may give me a shout out and tell me something that you may have in yours that I don't have in mine, or something that you think that probably I should think of taking. Now, I'm not a full-time videographer or filmmaker. I do this part-time, so It is what it is. I do the best I can. So if there's something that you think I should include, let me know. If there is something that that you think might not be necessary for me to carry, then you can chime in and let me know too. But in any case, though, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending, your precious time with me going through this. I hope you found it helpful, useful, and that it gave you a little bit of an idea or the urge to kind of put together something like this. If it does, give me a thumbs up, and if you like this video, don't forget to follow me on the channel, right? Because I have a lot of tips and tricks after doing this for over a decade. Not full time, just part time, but I've acquired a lot of knowledge I think that I can share. So thank you again for watching, and until the next video, you take care of yourself, okay? Bye-bye.